Let me ask you something. When you get home from work, what's the first thing you want to do? Is it to start exercising? Is it work on a new side hustle? Or is it mastering a brand new musical instrument? I'd actually bet cash that most of you want to do a single one of those things. In fact, it's very likely you want to do the opposite instead, and that's to slip into your house clothes, hop into a comfy chair, and dive into an exciting show on Netflix or browse social media. That's what a normal person wants to do after a hard day's work, after all. Unfortunately, it's obvious that neither of those things will improve your life in any regard. Luckily, it's possible to drop this lazy habit so you don't get stuck in a swamp of mediocrity for the rest of your life. And all it takes is a bit of an attitude adjustment to make it happen. Your motivation needs some pep to get you going. Once a person finishes a task, the natural inclination is to relax. But the problem is that just because the body wants to take it easy doesn't mean the job is done. And that's a feeling we can all relate to. Unfortunately, this is a never-ending problem that requires the right strategy to counter it. Otherwise, each day you do the same old thing. And that's to give in to the lazy and childlike response system the human body has. And if you just let your body dictate all your actions, well, it's just going to seek out junk food all day long and encourage Netflix binges. It's clear that this is a quick way to a sad and depressed life. So let's nip this issue in the bud. Brian Tracy has said, quote, "There are no limits to what you can accomplish, except the limits you place on your own thinking." End quote. Humans are wired to sink into routine and comfort. It's a way for us to conserve energy so we can put it towards useful things, like escaping a tiger or bear. But we don't live like our ancestors anymore, and it's obvious we don't need traits like this in a modern setting. Yet despite our lack of need for this characteristic, it's not going anywhere. We're forever stuck with the tendency to seek the path of least resistance, of instant gratification, and of maximum comfort. Even if it means we have to sacrifice all our future success, happiness, and fulfillment because of it. The only way out of our lazy haze is by infusing some electricity into our motivation methods. It's got to be something that actually makes us stop and think about what we want to do at any given moment. That way we don't just default to laziness. Instead, our brain actually does some cost-benefit analysis about whether it's actually a good idea to binge Netflix for a few hours after work. My top method is to exchange SMART goals for SMARTS goals. If you don't know what SMART goals are, I will inform you now. It's an acronym. The S stands for specific, the M stands for measurable, the A stands for equivalent, the R stands for relevant, and the T stands for time-based. Now that you know what it stands for, I can dive deeper. Specific, make your goals specific and narrow for more effective planning. Measurable, define what evidence will prove you're making progress and reevaluate when necessary. Achievable, make sure you can reasonably accomplish your goal within a certain time frame. Relevant, your goals should align with your values and long-term objectives. Time-based, set a realistic and ambitious end date for task prioritization and motivation. Now SMART goals are good for clarity and direction, but they lack when it comes to motivation. So you now add an extra S at the end, which stands for stakes. Stakes, giving something rewarding for completing and only after completing the set goal at hand. Now all of a sudden, your new SMARTS goal will drive you to take action as quickly as possible. Here's a few examples to get you going. You can use these as rocket to success, and you can create your own variations pretty easily. If you succeed at your goal, you get to eat at a nice restaurant. If you fail, then you've got to eat a whole raw grapefruit. I happen to hate grapefruits, so replace this with whatever works for you. Another is, if you succeed at your goal, you get to take a weekend trip somewhere nice. If you fail, you've got to volunteer as a roadside litter picker-upper. Or, if you succeed at your goal, you get to watch a movie you've been excited for. If you fail, you've got to watch a boring documentary on a topic you have no interest in. You get the idea. Just pick something on both sides of the motivation spectrum, and you'll be good to go with your new SMARTS goals. Now, if you wish to get more motivated, I will have a video titles part 2 to what the title of this video is.